Viewers of Equinoxe Television, thank you so much for joining us in this edition of the news. Our major stories this evening: Cameroonians are still to come to terms with the tragic and sudden passing of a political icon and patriot, Anise George Ekane, as reactions and words of disbelief and even fury continue to pour from Cameroon and also beyond. One of those reactions is that of Fo Sokuju of the Bamenju people of the West region, who says whatsoever has been done to Anise George Ekane's death is evident to us all. Meantime, the President of the Republic, President Pobi, has ordered for proper investigations on the real cause of the death of Anise Ekane. We come back to those reactions and even more in this news edition. That was our lonely story. We tell you more in just a moment. Hi there, once again, welcome back, viewers. Thank you so much for staying with us. Cameroonians continue to express worry over the tragic and sudden passing away of the political icon and patriot Anise George Ekane. He died, that was yesterday in Yaoundé. He died in detention. In the report that comes up next, our reporter Babila Junesen tells us who Anise George Ekane actually was.
George Anise Ekane was born April 17, 1951. He completed primary education at what is today known as Aqua Government Primary School. He pursued secondary education in LIMEN College, Jos High School, Collège Alfred Sake in Douala, and at Saint Pierre College in Lille, France, where he earned his baccalaureate. Anise Ekane later graduated with a degree in economics and administration from the University of Lille 1 and the Sky Business School in Lille. Upon arrival in Lille on September 21, 1971, he joined the National Union of Cameroonian Students, UNEC, a very active student union within the Cameroonian community in northern France. This is where George Anise Ekane's career as a political activist started. But the political spark had happened several years back when he witnessed the execution by firing squad of Ernest Ouandié, a historic leader of the Union des Populations du Cameroun UPC party, in the public square of the West Regional Capital Bafoussam on January 15, 1971. As a student at Collège Alfred Sake, George Anise Ekane was in Bafoussam that day. The Alfred Sake College football team, of which he was a member, had come to play a match against the Bafoussam High School team. He watched as Ernest Ouandié was assassinated, an event that will forever mark him. He often said Ernest Ouandié gave meaning to his life. In 1973, he became a member of the UPC until 1995, when he founded the African Movement for New Independence and Democracy, MANIDEM, with other UPC members. When he returned to Cameroon in 1983, after Paul Biya came to power, he led the group of patriotic Democrats around Yondo Black at the end of 1989 under the leadership of the UPC. Arrested along with members of the group on February 19, 1990, George Anise Ekane was brought before the military court in Yaoundé and sentenced in April 1990. He was slammed a 4-year jail term, a 20 million francs CFA fine, and the obligation to pay the cost of the entire trial. He was released following a presidential pardon on August 14, 1990. Upon his release from prison, George Anise Ekane resumed his activities within the UPC with renewed vigor. At the UPC Congress in December 1991 in Bamungum, in Bafoussam, he was elected National Secretary for the coordination and spokesperson of the UPC MANIDEM. The initiator of the Red Card protest, an influential organizer of the Ghost Town protest, and later the driving force behind the presidential campaign of the Union for Change in October 1992, George Anise Ekane has been involved in every battle of the Cameroonian opposition since the advent of multi-party politics in 1990. President of MANIDEM since its creation, George Anise Ekane resigned from the party's leadership in November 2009 and became a political advisor to the MANIDEM Political Bureau. He was nominated by his party as its candidate for the 2011 presidential election. He was also Manidem's candidate in the October 2004 presidential election after he was chosen by his comrades to lead the party. A 2018 decision by the Minister of Territorial Administration confirmed him as head of the party following a leadership crisis with former President Dieudonné Yebka. Under his leadership, Manidem presented Professor Maurice Kamto's candidacy at the October 12, 2025 presidential election, but after it was rejected by Elections Cameroon, he was part of the Union for Change that supported the candidacy of Issa Chiroma Bakare. He died in detention December 1, 2025.
We told you in the headlines that President Probi has ordered for proper investigations on the reason or the cause of the death of Anise Kane. Meanwhile, Gertrude Ekanda's sister to the deceased Manidem President Anise Kane has, on behalf of the family, rubbish President Probi's instruction for an inquiry to be conducted to establish the real circumstances and causes of the death of Anise Kane. She said that the family is not interested because it will never yield or hardly yield fruit like several others piled up in State Inquiry Cabinet when they needed them most. Our reporter Innocent Aze tells us more.
More than 24 hours after the announced death of Anise Kane, president of the Manidem political party, we are at the headquarters of the political formation here in Bonazibong, Douala 1 subdivision. Our presence at the Mudi Manidem head office is rooted on the head of state's instruction for an inquiry to be conducted to establish the real circumstances and causes of the death of Anise Kane. The aggrieved family snubs this, considering it as not solely a provocation, but a seed like others that will never bear fruits.
Ces enquêtes vont aboutir. Il y a eu beaucoup d'enquêtes au Cameroun qui n'aboutissent pas de suite, qui n'ont jamais eu de suite. Donc nous ne voyons pas pourquoi il veut faire les enquêtes sur le président Kane, qui est mon frère.
That announcement by the head of state so far does not console the family.
La famille n'en veut pas.
Gertrude Ekane, sister to the deceased Manidem president, believes the inquiry should have been carried out when they demanded before his unlawful arrest.
Mais il est resté en garde à vue pendant plus d'un an. Il n'a jamais été jugé.
To them, it is of no use probing into the real circumstances and causes of the death of Anise Kane because it will not resuscitate him or bring him back to life. Mourning of a man described as a fearless fighter for change in Cameroon continues at the Manidem headquarters. Relatives, comrades, including Cameroonians who admire his courage and determination to fight for a better Cameroon, are still heartbroken.
Tu as lutté pour nous. Nous sommes avec toi. Papa, je vais jamais t'oublier. Tu es martyr, tu es un héros. Les jaloux vont mourir. On t'a oublié, papa, tu es un grand. Tu n'es pas n'importe qui. Va en paix. Mais Dieu va t'accueillir. Tu n'iras pas en affaire. Mais ceux qui te font du mal vont payer. Ils savent qu'ils vont payer. Eux-mêmes aussi vont mourir. C'est comme ça.
Reporting live at the headquarters of Manidem, we are Innocent Aze, Ashiu Kamgang, Jure Siopa pour Equinoxe Television News.
C'est un père, il n'y a pas de affaire ou une nouvelle à débat. Ils savent qu'eux-mêmes ils vont mourir.
Thank you, Innocent. And with over 50 years of activism, Anise Kane has been at the center of major political debates in Cameroon for the last 6 months. Highlights of his most recent political showcase includes the spectacular endorsement of Maurice Kamto, the Union for Change platform, the endorsement of Issa Chiroma Bakare, and the declaration of his victory on the night of the October 12 presidential election. From me, I'm Strong Sander. More.
For the last 6 months in Cameroon, George Anise Kane has been at the center of major political debate. On July 2025, Anise Kane, beyond every political speculations, announced the endorsement and investiture of the candidacy of Professor Maurice Kamto under the banner of his Manidem political party for the October 12 presidential election in the country. A 360 degrees turnaround unexpected by his political rivals, given his previous public declarations within the Douala Group platform. The 16th July Kamto investment was seen as a political hat trick, given that Kamto was ambushed on the imperative mandate. Despite his "No Make Arrest" slogan, the alliance was short-lived due to the rejection of Maurice Kamto's candidacy by the Constitutional Council on grounds of multiple investment. However, Anise Kane did not give up his dream to facilitate and see Cameroon in a third republic. Through his Union for Change platform, he remains a pole of attraction and negotiation for political parties and civil society organizations interested in the election. On September 13, 2025 in Yaoundé, Anise Kane and his allies endorsed Issa Chiroma Bakari for the 12 October presidential election. Dr. Chris Maneng, Issa Chiroma's campaign manager, remembers Anise Kane as a selfless and esteemed politician. On the night of October 12, 2025, Anise Kane and his collaborators announced the victory of Issa Chiroma Bakari in the election on the basis of results collected from polling stations from across Cameroon. 12 days later, Anise Kane and co got arrested in the city of Douala and ferried to Yaoundé incommunicado. As days went by, his health condition became preoccupying by the confiscation of his oxygen concentrator, according to his lawyers and family members. Things went from bad to worse until his final breath on December 1st, 2025. With over 50 years of activism, Anise Kane, 74, leaves behind a nation wounded and helplessly bleeding over the word change.
And Cameroonians have been expressing worries and they have been grieving over the sudden passing away of the patriot Anise Kane while in detention. Our reporter Cedric Chakuto spoke with some Cameroonians in the streets of Douala and compiled their reactions in the report. This comes up next.
The death of Anise Kane, president of the African Movement for New Independence and Democracy, Manidem political party, while in detention, has sent shockwaves across the country. In the economic capital city dwellers keep of him a man who fought for the independence of Cameroon.
Anise Kane
is a loyal fighter, a man who never worried. His entire struggle was to liberate Cameroon. Aside from that, I don't know him as a bad person or a bad leader. He has been at the forefront of the liberation of Cameroon because we were always told that we hadn't achieved independence. So I remember him as a great fighter. What I remember most about him is his appearance before the Constitutional Council. It made me cry. He asked forgiveness from his comrade Yebga, who had betrayed him, who had betrayed the country, asking him why now? Why choose an individual over the well-being of his own country?
Le pays n'a pas de prix. C'est ce que je retiens de lui.
To many, Anise Kane was not just a political leader, he was a genuine man, a profoundly human being, one of those rare men who embody integrity, loyalty, courage, everything that this country so sorely lacks.
C'est un héros national parce que
he is a national hero because he accepted death for his homeland, for change in his country.
A accepté de faire autre chose en dehors de dire que je meurs pour le Cameroun, je défends le Cameroun.
Doit être considéré comme un héros.
He should be considered as a hero because he fought a battle that deserved the respect of all Cameroonians. He is a national hero to me.
For
me, he should be considered as a national hero because as president of a political party, he put his ego aside and chose to support another president. That is commendable, and it was for the good of his own country. Born in 1951 here in Douala, Anise Kane joined the National Union of Cameroonian Students in the 1970s before joining UPC in 1973 and then created Manidem in 1995. Cameroonians consider him like a leader who fought the good fight.
And many more reactions continue to pour on social media from political actors and international media organs. They condemn the fact that Anise Kane died in detention and was deprived of quality health care given his health condition, which was deteriorating. Mala Glory compiled the reactions of Akeremona Issa Chiroma Bakari, Barrister Bala, and foreign media organs, especially the outing of the Minister for Communication.
Barrister Kerimuna, one of Cameroon's renowned lawyers, reacts to the sudden demise of Anise Kane, president of the Manidem Party, a left-wing Cameroonian opposition figure who died on Monday at the Yaoundé Military Hospital 5 weeks after he was arrested and detained. Kerimuna regrets the fact that Anise was seriously sick even before his detention, yet his failing health failed to compel the authorities to release him to his family and the care of medical experts who master his health condition. Instead, in total disregard for human dignity, he was denied the simple sacred right to spend his last moments on earth with loved ones. Muna urged Cameroonians to look into this chaos and ask this question with unwavering courage. What ruthless monster is our country becoming, he said. Felix Agbobala, a Cameroonian human rights lawyer, says the death of Anise Kane is a tragic reminder of the human cost of prolonged incarceration. He condemns the illegal arrest and detention of Cameroonians while calling for their release, which he says will heal wounds and restore trust. Issa Chiroma Bakari, self-proclaimed president-elect, paid tribute to Anise Kane and demand justice for his death. I promise here before God and before the people, your sacrifice will not be in vain. Your memory will live on in every act of justice. Chiroma hailed Ekane for his strength and determination while condemning the systematic repression of dissent, emphasizing that the blood of Anise Kane calls for justice and not vengeance. Aside the reaction from political actors in Cameroon on the death of Anise Kane, several international organizations have equally refused to remain silent. The Street Journal, BBC, The Washington Post, Reuters, and DW, among many others, have recognized the death of a firebrand opposition leader while in detention in Cameroon.
Now let's listen to the reaction of Edith Kawala, president of the CPP and coordinator of Stand Up for Cameroon. He spoke to our reporter Innocent Aze.
There's a deep hole in his family, in his political family, but in Cameroon, we have lost somebody for what we can say is no good reason. Because the government of Cameroon cannot tell us why did they arrest him. Why did they arrest him? They cannot tell us if they arrested him and they knew his health was fragile. Why was he not given proper health care? His lawyer had to come to social media to raise the alarm because his health care was not what it should be. And what I can tell you as women leaders, we went to see Minister Atanganji. We went to see Minister Rene Sadi just last week, Thursday and Friday of last week. And during the meeting with Minister Atanganji, we particularly raised the case of Mr. Anise Ekane and his health. And when we were talking at that time, the minister was behaving as if we are exaggerating. Oh, he is okay, he's in the hospital, the military hospital have very good health care. But here we are. Here we are. And we know for a fact that they did not take the care which they were supposed to take. So the government owes us explanation. And the government should understand that we are not going to put up with this. They are not going to continue kidnapping Cameroonians because they want to conserve their power at all costs. We must all die. They must arrest everybody. They kill everybody because they have to remain in power. This is not going to. You cannot kill somebody and then tell their family how they should cry. You cannot. It is the family's right. However they decide to mourn their person, it is their right. Personally, what remains in my mind of Anise Ekane, I came back to Cameroon in 1989. And in the 90s, Anise Ekane was one of the biggest fighters that Cameroon had. He was somebody who knew that we have to fight for rights, political rights, social rights, economic rights. I remember the fight that he led against Sonel at the time for us to have electricity, and Unfortunately, we are still having problems with electricity till today. So I remember him as somebody who was dedicated to Cameroon as a country and who knew that we had to fight with the people and fight on the.
And now we have had several reports that the deceased Anise Kane was deprived of an oxygen concentrator to permit him breathe more. The importance of having an oxygen concentrator cannot be overemphasized, especially for individuals with respiratory problems. A case in point is that of Anise Kane, a Cameroonian, the Cameroonian opposition leader who died. That was yesterday after being denied access to his oxygen concentrator for several days. Reportedly, we spoke with epidemiologists to understand the importance of an oxygen concentrator, especially for someone like Anise Kane with severe respiratory conditions. Immaculate Fogui.
The death of Anise Kane, president of the African Movement for New Independence and Democracy, MANIDEM, on December 1st, 2025, raises questions about his medical care and the withholding of his oxygen concentrator. We spoke with a pulmonologist to understand the importance of an oxygen concentrator, especially for someone like Anise Kane with a severe respiratory condition.
The air we breathe is composed of approximately 20% of oxygen, a vital component necessary for human life. For patients who are struggling to get enough oxygen on their own, supplemental oxygen therapy is often prescribed to help increase oxygen levels in the blood. There are two primary ways to deliver oxygen therapy. The first is through compressed oxygen tanks, which are large, sturdy cylinders that store oxygen under pressure. These tanks come in various sizes and are often used in medical settings or at home for patients who require a steady flow of oxygen, which are devices. The second option is electric energy concentrators, which are devices that extract oxygen from the air and deliver it to the patient.
Barrister Hippolyte Meli had requested that the oxygen concentrator be returned on November 15, stating it was in the vehicle of Ekane's driver, also detained at the gendarmerie. A delivery slip shows the device was sent to Yaoundé on November 22nd, over 20 days after Ekane's arrest. Specialists warn that depriving a patient of such a device can put their lives at risk.
It's crucial to provide oxygen therapy to patients who need it, as insufficient oxygen levels can lead to serious complications, including tissue damage, organ failure, and even death. Oxygen is essential for cellular respiration, the process by which our cells generate energy, making it vital for survival.
The government claims Anise Kane received proper medical care at the National Gendarmerie Medical Center where he died. An autopsy that was to be carried out on December 2nd at exactly 10 a.m. has been rescheduled. The family wants to ensure transparency in the process as they plan having the doctor of their choice to conduct the autopsy alongside the official doctor. This, they say, is to guarantee unbiased results.
Thank you, Immaculate. May the soul of Anise Kane continue to rest in the Lord. And that does it for the first part of the news, viewers. Let's move on to talking points. Welcome back. We are talking again this evening with Barrister NKAMWAH LIMEN. Barrister LIMEN, thank you so much for accepting to push the conversation with us again today, coming back to the circumstances which led to the arrest, detention, and subsequent death of Anise Kane, who has been described as a staunch patriot. Now, Barrister, we continue to get information that the deceased was arrested with no concrete judicial procedures. How can you analyze that from a legal point of view?
The question I asked myself was, did we need to go this far? Why was he in prison in the very first place? You know, before now, it was rumored that he died. And it was confirmed that he was very sick. We have our laws, our criminal laws provide for granting of bail during criminal litigations. Why was he not granted bail? He fulfills all the conditions of to be granted bail. He has a non-abort. He is a public figure. He has a family, and he will not escape from justice because the borders are tied. Why don't you appreciate the fact that this man is sick, he needs medical attention, and release him to his family? What offense did he commit? That you came, they kidnapped him from Douala to Yaoundé. What offense did he commit? What kind of country do we live in? That somebody is actually sick. He is known that he is sick, and you keep him under detention.
Barrister LIMEN, and he said George Ikane, we already know, died in detention yesterday in Yaoundé. Can you tell us about the conditions in which he was detained, especially with regards to his failing health condition as per the law?
It is a gross human rights violation, commencing from his arrest. What was his offense? What was his offense? From report you get, they said they picked up his relative. He went there and was bundled, and was swindled, and was kidnapped to Yaoundé. And here I see they see somewhere they write judicial arrest. How can they show proof that the State Council of Douala, the State Council of Bonanjo sanctioned the transfer of a Cameroonian from his jurisdiction to Yaoundé? It is a violation of human rights. And what was the issue? Because he took side. He took side on political issues. Every Cameroonian has a right to aspire. All of us, we have protected rights. And Cameroon has signed and ratified those international covenants, conventions relating to human rights, freedom of speech, freedom of movement, freedom of opinion. You understand? And in our Cameroon constitution, the preamble guarantees those rights. So why, because of his inclination to a political party, you come and arrest him? Let me tell you, I have two of my clients that, as I talk to you, two of my collaborators are in the governor's office, where they came and arrested Tenfak Jeremy and Tenfak Michel, all workers. They were working at a pharmacy here at Aquanor. They came, discussed with them, then went and came and arrested both of them. Imagine the pressure they put on a family to arrest a senior brother and a junior brother. You take them to Legion de la Gendarmerie, the Gendarmerie Legion, and then in the evening they just came and said that let us bundle them and add with those who march and send them to prison. You understand? Why do we keep violating human rights in this country? Why do we do that? Now he is dead. His spirit is going to haunt all those who contributed to his death. It's very...
Barrister, can it be correct to assert, we understand you, can it be correct or right to assert that he should be added to the books or list of those who can now be qualified as martyrs, paying with their lives for the sake of their fatherland?
He's a hero and a wastage. Wastage because such an intelligent person, such a person who wanted just a change for Cameroon, should give up his life. I don't think there is any other sacrifice that anybody can do than going through what he has gone. To be very honest, I share in the grief of his family. I share in the grief of Cameroonians. Why for any reason should anybody arrest Cameroonians because of their inclination to a particular political party? A party which is legalized, a legal political party, you go and arrest people because, do you know something? To be honest with you, let me try to contain myself because I can say things that I am emotionally broken by what is happening. It's like we have people who sign death warrants in this country without thinking. Yes, people sign others death warrants in this country without thinking. But there is a price to pay. His blood, he has died, and his spirit will go on all those who took those decisions to lock them up, because some of them are still there. And I think that they should come now to reason that why is Professor Abayu still doing in prison? Why are all the others still doing in prison? What offense, I'm talking as a lawyer, what offense did they commit? What offense did they commit? that you think that it is such a case that needs to go to the military tribunal. Don't we have military tribunals in Douala? Military tribunal in Douala. Why were they supposed to be taken in Yaoundé? Look, when we sit and watch injustice, it comes back to us tomorrow.
Thank you so much, Barrister. We know that when a patriot or an icon like Anise Ekane passes on, emotions abound. Before we go, Barrister, we have several other patriots, you know, professors, intellectuals, politicians, who are, etc., who are incarcerated for just or unjust reasons as we speak. Can you tell us, your barrister at law, what isn't really ticking with detention facilities in Cameroonian prisons?
You know, I have written a book which is selling internationally, which will be launched in Cameroon, talking about bail in criminal litigations, that every Cameroonian should have it. Because our laws do provide, if you look at the Criminal Procedure Code, it makes it very clear that remand into custody is an exception. It is not the general rule. The law has provided that when you meet certain conditions, you can look from Article Section 224, 224(6)G. If you look on those things, you will see that there are conditions given in the law, provided by the law, for you to be granted bail, temporary liberty, as the criminal matter unfolds. So, if you look at Cameroonians, they don't know their rights as far as liberty, provisional liberty is concerned, bail is concerned.
Thank you so much, Barrister NKAMWAH LIMEN, for accepting to talk to us again today on Talking Points. We were discussing, or we came back to the life, death, arrest of the icon and patriot Anise Ekane. And again, we extend sincere condolences to his political and biological families. Viewers, that was what we gathered for you this evening. Thank you so much for always being with us. Our programs continue tonight. Equinoxe comes up at 7 p.m. as usual with Sagaleng, and then using the French language at 8 p.m. with Irish Ngonomala. See you again tomorrow. Bye-bye for now.